Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live, Roadhouse Last Call. I don't know what it is. I don't know what day it is. Hells isn't here to tell us. It's December 20th. I think it's Wednesday. Stonkington, good morning.
Hello, what's up?
It's just us.
It's just us.
We're
December
running
20th.
slim.
Man. Well, we can power through.
I think so. I think we got to be getting close enough to Christmas where it's like, okay, we just pause the morning show for a couple of days, let everybody do their holiday plans and get through it, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of people around the next couple days.
I mean, yeah, hopefully tis the season to go do other stuff, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to take off and go. We're leaving on the 26th, the day after Christmas. And we're going to go down to the coast for a week. Kids are out of school. Today's their last day. So it's like, right now I don't have a house. We got the kids are getting out of school today, and we're going to go do some vacation stuff. So yeah. Everybody's got house guests. Do you have house guests? You got anybody that's coming to visit? Or is everybody
We
local?
considered going to my parents' place to visit them, but that's like a 7-hour drive that we just did for Thanksgiving. So it's like, yeah. And we got a 1 month till the wedding, exactly to the day. So that's, we're like, well, we'll see you at the wedding, mom and dad. I don't need to go see you again. Pretty much.
I don't we don't tend to have a lot of house guests, especially now that we live in Texas. When we were in Colorado, my wife's family would come out and visit. And they're great, but it seems like around the holidays is when they decide it's a good idea to come and stay for like 3 weeks. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to start leaving invoices sliding them under the door.
Man. Yeah, like
Subtle
the
hints.
movies.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, what do we got? Anything in the news? It looks like the headlines are U.S. stocks rally is set to pause. Futures take a breather. That's what I'm seeing. That's what they're
FedEx.
saying. FedEx. Yeah, what happened to the FedEx?
They had a Q2 earnings miss and a revenue guidance cut.
Oof.
Yeah. Let's see. So they took a hit. What else? I mean, we had been talking about that because what Amazon shipping surpassed UPS and FedEx. So I was like, that writing was on the wall. Uh, Anything else? Let's see. We've got BTBT. We talked about this flow. They're up 2.7%. So I don't know if anyone got in on that. I call those out little sweepers. Upgrades, downgrades. This just looks like a bunch of trash, so we don't really care about that. What's on the books for today? Uh, we've got some interesting stuff that could have impacts. We have home sales in an hour. We've got crude oil inventories in an hour and a half. And then 1 p.m. we've got a 20-year bond auction. So those would be the clock things that I see. That's about it, though.
All right. Well, I live kind of off the beaten path now a little bit. Um, there's a lot of delivery drivers that end up calling because they can't find the address or they don't know where we are. I'm getting Amazon packages like every day, and they're on time. And the the amount of stuff that I've had to order just to kind of get us set up with everything that we need. You know, there's when you move from a house into a camper or a couple of campers, there's all kinds of stuff that you need just to make daily life like more comfortable, right? Um,
Hmm.
don't realize, oh shit, we don't have that now. Okay, what are we gonna do? Like now we have shoes everywhere, right? People used to put them in closets, and they would, or we had an entryway with a. That's like, okay, now what do we do with that? So you end up just ordering a bunch of stuff to like kind of get organized and settled. And the Amazon drivers around here, they're fearless. Um, I would not just drive through somebody's like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy where they are willing to go. And like we've got these two big dogs, the livestock guard dogs that we have out here, and they're friendly, but uh, I don't know that they necessarily look friendly when you pull up and they're both standing there just barking at you. Um, and it's like the Amazon drivers don't seem to give a fuck. They just doesn't matter if the gate's closed. They'll like open the gate, come through, drive down a driveway. You can't even see a house. They don't know where we're at. They drive down the dirt road. Dogs are following them, and we had one of them actually knock on the camper door to deliver something. I was like, "What?"
Damn.
Yeah, yeah. I've been
Yeah.
trying to tell them all and tell them like, you don't have to come all the way down here. You just drop it off at the front. That's fine.
I had one the other day that I was outside with the dogs, and the Amazon guy got scared of the ankle biter. I was like,
Yeah, but you're in
dude,
California.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And the other good one was, you're talking about like Amazon guys will deliver anywhere. I saw one in a tent city. They wrote up, they like
Oh
spray painted
shit.
their fake address onto a tarp. And I was like, is this guy getting
What?
Amazon packages in his tent? That was a good one.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Wow.
dedication.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's take a look at this chart. Pull that up. All right. So looking at the ES here, and actually I'll pull up SPX real quick. Still see we're stone's throw from ATH. Here we've got about 50 points or so to take that out on SPX. If I'm looking at, let's pull up. This is yes. And I'll switch to adjusted, which messes up my fibs here. Something like that. So we were talking about that 1272 extension up at 5014. The stops that would be sitting here at this 48, 60, 25, and our parallel channel that we have crossed the midpoint, taken out this previous high, and headed towards potentially testing the top of that channel. We'll see what they do with it, but that would essentially take out that 48, 60, 25 and put us, depending on when we get there, up near that 1272 extension. So if we do want to continue north, going into January and maybe even the first part of January with some pullbacks along the way, this would be a big area right up here. Could you imagine if they stretch it out just enough, to take out, hit that 1272 and take out this area up in here? I would imagine that that if it does reach up into here and take near the top of this trend line and that 1272 extension, that it's highly likely that we see some sort of pullback, and that actually would not surprise me at all if we hit that, get market structure shift and then get, some relief from this rally, get some sort of pullback. Zooming in, let's take a look here. 60-minute. You can see this channel that we talked about the last couple of days on the shorter time frame. And again, all of these levels that we keep leaving below, not coming back to take anyone out, really. So if longs from this area down here really haven't taken any heat at all, right? There hasn't been a scenario yet where if you were long that we really put in lower lows, right? So at some point they gotta flip the monopoly board and reset the deck. Don't know when, but we're breaking just below the bottom of this trend line. So we'll see if it can get reclaimed, or if they want to, come down here and scare some people out. I'm not going to go through each of these levels. I don't think I need to. We've been talking about it for a couple days. You can see them on the chart. I can post the chart, but a minute real quick. This, on the 15-minute, you can kind of see it here, right? You've got relative equal lows down here, right there. So I'd see what kind of reaction you get when that gets taken. If it just wants to take it and then shift direction, go back the other way, or if this area in here becomes resistance, you can see this 15-minute fair value gap in here potentially getting filled. On the flip side, and get above. Actually, let's go back to here where the stops will be sitting, 48.14. If we can get above 48.14, you can see it coming back to fill in some of this stuff. You got a volume imbalance in here at 48.16 area and a 15-minute fair value gap right in here, 48.19 up to 48.21.75. So that's kind of coming into the day, kind of how it's set up. Get above this level and hold. If you get that power candle through, pull back into a fair value gap, maybe you get a trade up into this, fill in this candle. And then if it really, if flow looks good and the momentum is there, then look to see above 48.24.25. Below these relative equal lows here, that becomes resistance. It's probably going to come down and at least fill that in. Potentially, you see a pull down to 47.87.75. Down here. That's about all I got. Stonkington, what do you think? What do you got on your charts?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I mean that low right there seems like kind of looks like a bear flag too. So maybe they sweep that. We'll see. Let's check out. We do have some smashes on deck, so we can take a look at what we've got here. Let's see, again, failed breakout. So we closed above the prior day's high yesterday on the IWM. So it would be a short setup, and the entry would be the break below yesterday's low. So we got an alert set on that one. See if we break below 198.02, current spot 199.91 on the IWM. Same goes for the SPY. We'll get an alert that pops below yesterday's low if we break that. We talked about the last smash day. We closed here above the prior day's high. So the short setup was break below this low, and it gave just a little push down. And then the idea would have been done when we broke this high. So that kind of all played out based on that prior smash day. And now our next setup would be if we break yesterday's low. And same goes for the Qs. Closed above the prior day's high. See if we break below that low. Let's see if we jump over to the futures. Take a look at the NASDAQ. So similar, we've got kind of a bear flag look to it here. We've got a bunch of stops sitting down below. So it'd be interesting to see. I want to see what happens if we get down here into the 16,962. Looks like we've lost this trend line. And so I think, what I would be looking for is see if we potentially take these stops, and then you can see it's cleaner, more stops sitting above on the NASDAQ up that 17,045.75, which also could potentially be a trend line retest. And then you can see the sell is all kind of fair value gap stuff, similar to what Benner was showing us there on the ES. So, maybe if it was going to play out exactly the way we might guess, would be sweep the lows, you go take out these stops and stall out somewhere up here near this trend line. We'll see if it plays out that simply. Would be kind of surprising, but maybe that's what we get. Or maybe the loss of the trend line is where things start to cool off a bit. So we'll kind of just keep an eye on the flow and see what we get. Russell's still been going. We talked about the possibility of a pop yesterday. We've been waiting on the break of this trend line. We've gotten it. And other than that, I mean, we left this 4-hour fair value gap here. So I'm going to leave that on the chart. We've got this is the big weekly trend line that we've now crossed. And then, so if for upside, we know there's going to be stops sitting here. Got a little daily volume imbalance. So first target, I'd be interested to see what they do if we go up through 2056.4 up there on the Russell. Then we had this little volume imbalance there on the daily. We had this candle closed above it or through it, and then we've got this little volume imbalance on the daily as well above for some upside targets. And then if we're going to pull back on the Russell, potentially retest the trend line, or if we slice back through that, be interested to see what we get with this filling this 4-hour gap there, 2013.6. So we're kind of going to see what we get over there. For individual tickers, we'll be keeping an eye again on Tesla. We've been talking. We had this as an upside target a couple days, 258.09 dark pool, tagged it, stalled. So for continued upside, I want to see that pop and hold. Below, if we continue to pull back here, I'm going to be looking to see what happens at 254. Whatever reason, that's a key level. You can kind of really easily see that here. Support, resistance, stalled out just below, resistance. So now we'll see what we get, easy round number there on Tesla. Other than that, I think I got some, we'll keep an eye on some of the usuals, AMD, keep an eye on flow, and just going to kind of see what we get. I think that's all I got for today.
All right. Very nice. Thank you.
Good stuff.
I don't have much else. Yeah, Bitcoin pushing back towards 44, up 3.4% here. Keep an eye on those miners. If you've been following along, obviously we had talked about Riot, and we've been talking about Bitcoin since it was 30 in the 30 to 32 range, and watched it cross over 40, and now here we are hovering around 44. So if you look at the Bitcoin chart, you're looking at the daily, you can see where kind of that next big level is, right up over 48,250. So I'll pull this chart down real quick. Okay, there we go. And my start menu, go away, hold on. Okay, there we go. All right, so looking at the Bitcoin chart here on the daily, this is the level I was talking about right up here, 48,250. You know, you see what looks to be a bull flag potentially in here on the daily. And we had a fair value gap back in here. You can see we've kind of come up to fill most of that in. So the top of that being 45,159. If you can get through that, I think, and hold above, you know, say 40, this 43 to 45 area, if that can continue to act as support and it can get through this after filling it in, then I think it's got the potential to go up and take out this 48,250. So I will be, you know, I'll be tracking this and kind of continue to provide updates on the chart. And if things shift and it decides to take a breather or change direction, then if I see it, I'll call it out, try to give the heads up. But that's about it. So for those of you that are around today, Stonkington, I think you're maybe around. I don't know. But for those of you that are going to stick it out and trade, I don't know what volume's been like, but just keep an eye on flow, respect your levels. And volume is likely to start to dry up if it hasn't already. That's about it. Stonks, anything else?
No, I mean, I think we
Cool.
got it. I'll be around for a good section and in the room for the second half of the day. Should be good to go.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and maybe we'll see you tomorrow. I'm thinking we're getting pretty close to where we're just gonna take a couple days off, but we'll see. We'll see.
Good stuff.
Stay green. Don't do dumb shit. Yeah, that's all I got. All right, we're closed. See y'all later.